Hello, cool cats and kids. Welcome to a classic Frack The Canon episode. It's classic because it's just me and CJ, just the basic two, the original two. So this episode, we're gonna be talking about some casting news that has been revealed as of September 19th. So first of all, CJ, what's up? You want to say hello to the people?
What's up, people? Seeing your composition here is showing me I gotta get a better background in my room that I can show off more nerd stuff. Like you got Clerk, Spider-Man, and stuff back there. The Crow, OG stuff. I got a dirty closet back here that I can't even close because there's too many freaking clothes in the doorway.
It's funny because I was talking about this by Floyd from the other TV station that I'm working at right now while I'm looking for a full-time job. Hint, hint. She's like, oh, I like your show, but can we do this instead? Can you? I'm like, yeah, I can move it. I'm like, oh. She goes, maybe throw a light on your face. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Just using my. I'm like, oh. So if I look more naturally lit, that's why. Keep moving on that lady.
So you got some pointers. You've been getting some pointers in behind the scenes over here. Okay.
Exactly. Alrighty. So we're going to start off with some news that we just received, was that supposedly there has been a villain cast for Antman 3, and if this is true, this character, why Antman 3? But the rumor is that they've cast Kang the Conqueror for Antman 3. Your thoughts, CJ?
Well, okay. So first off, I'm going to attack this as, how could this be possible, right? So okay. I'm going to look at Ant-Man is now the character in the MCU who has introduced the idea of time travel. Before, there was a time stone, but they never really messed around with that as far as time travel goes. You know what I mean? He caught himself in like a little time loop or whatever. But Ant-Man is the first one to say, okay, you go through this freaking, whatever the heck, I'm blanking on all this stuff. It's like MCU was so 2 years ago. No, I'm joking. The quantum realm.
That's right, yes, quantum realm.
They found a way to navigate the quantum realm and realized that you could use that to time travel. So here we have this villain who's one of the Avengers villains I like more than the others. I hesitate to say favorite because it's like, I don't know, it's like, I think he's okay, I guess, but like I like him more than like a lot of them, you know what I mean? But I do find him to be an interesting villain. And so now we have this idea where they kind of came in, Avengers kind of came in and broke time, so to speak. So you have this villain who could kind of come in and like be the not antithesis, that's not the right word, be the comeuppance for that, like be the retribution for messing around with time, be the you guys did
reckoning?
This reckoning. Yeah, I think that's a better word. Reaction to, I guess,
that makes sense. I think that fits better.
Be the reaction to them ultimately, using this MacGuffin or whatever to fix everything. And so now you have this guy coming in like, okay, you fix this, but now it'd be awesome if it's like you fix this, but you kind of ruined my future, and now, that would make him like almost like a Thanos-esque type of villain. If he comes in, it's kind of like, hey, look, I'm coming to save my world that you guys screwed up. You know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be really cool. But that's getting way, way ahead of it. I feel like that's how he could kind of be introduced. I would say that I feel like Ant-Man is a bit of a waste for a villain like Kang, but that's something that you can kind of escalate, especially with the absence of Iron Man now, of an Iron Man character. Because if you're gonna put like Kang in a as a villain in one hero's movie, I feel like the only person it would fit would be some sort of a tech hero, which would be, I feel like, Iron Man, but Iron Man is dead. So it's like you kind of pit tech against like future tech, you know what I mean? Like who can adapt. Well, now the only real tech hero now is Ant-Man, and it's not necessarily him as a tech hero. It's more like his supporting cast are the more techy. He just kind of comes in and, does jobs, so to speak.
Heist jobs. No, I was kidding. No, see, I'm interested in Kang because I'm not a fan of him. I'm like a time travel villain, kind of lame, kind of hokey. And then his name, Kang the Conqueror, very hokey. But what I love about him is that he is a young Avenger. Like in his origin, one of his retcon origin story, he is Iron Lad. I'm like, that is a cool way to introduce the Young Avengers. That way, I'm like, that could they be hitting to Young Avengers? And that's the only reason. What I don't really, again, as you and CG have spoken, I'm not the biggest Ant-Man fan in the comics or film franchise, but I'm like, okay, this might be bringing in Iron Lad, which will lead into the Young Avengers. That's what I'm excited for. And then they cast some, I forgot his name. He's from I actually should be watching H.P. Lovecraft's Country. But I'll look it up. But I'm excited for that casting. I'm okay, cool. We're getting some new stuff. Kang the Conqueror. I'm like, Young Avengers is what I'm thinking. But time travel also, because he, like you said too, time travel, reckoning, rectifying, could also be another reason. Maybe it's both.
I think that's cool. I didn't even think about Young Avengers as a part of this, but like thinking about how the MCU is kind of operating, I feel like that very much makes a lot of sense, you know, for them to do that. The way they're operating kind of now, you know what I mean? It would make a whole lot of sense for them to introduce Kang and then introduce Young Avengers and then bring about the idea, oh, hey, this is young Kang here, like, you know, bringing out that whole idea. That makes a lot of sense. If they were to do something like that, it wouldn't surprise me at all. One theory that I heard on a podcast I was listening to, I can't remember the exact name, but one thing I heard, they were likening the idea of how Kang is very much steeped in like this sort of Egyptian mythology or whatever. A lot of things having to do with Kang have to do with, you know, well, Egypt. A lot of his technology and a lot of everything he does is based on like that sort of that era. And another correlation to Egypt in Marvel, as we know, in ancient Egypt, is Apocalypse, who is the first mutant. You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, here's an interesting thing. They're playing around with time travel. They're playing around with, you know what I mean, with Kang. Both of these characters both of these things are known to alter things. You know what I mean? Maybe Kang is our way into mutants in the MCU, you know? Was a theory that I find very interesting.
That is a very interesting. That would be, I can see that. That makes a lot more sense than the multidimensional Doctor Strange going into different universe, which was, I guess, the prevalent theory for a while, that it was going to be him bringing in mutants through. I'm like, that makes kind of sense. But this version is way better. Kang and Apocalypse, I like that theory a lot more. Again, theory. I wish Marvel tell us, please. Don't tell me.
Tell us, please. I don't know. I mean, to counter your point, like, I don't feel like either is less hokey, though. You know, like, they're both, like, one is more science fiction and one is more fantasy, but they're both, like, kind of magic, you know what I mean? Like,
well,
abracadabra mutants are in the universe now, kind of.
Well, none of them are really possible because none of them are real characters. So both theories are okay. But we're comic book science fiction fantasy, so we're gonna stick to show. So we're gonna stick to that topic.
No, you're right.
All right. So another thing we talked about recently was declared. I declare. It was revealed that we have cast our She-Hulk, which we haven't done for the longest time. Like, I've been interested in that at all. I prefer. I am not a Hulk fan, but She-Hulk is the one I've always really enjoyed, really liked. I didn't like the Ultimate version of She-Hulk, where it was Betty Ross who was the She-Hulk. I'm like, I prefer Jennifer Walters, and we're getting Jennifer Walters, and we're getting Tatiana Malzani, I believe is her name.
Okay. Yeah, I do not know how to pronounce that.
But I watched her show, Orphan Black, which is she played several characters, and I was floored by it. But I just got tired because I was watching Doctor Who at the same time. I'm like, I can't deal with both shows right now, so I'll touch Doctor Who. But she was amazing. She was great, and she played clones of each other, and each clone was a different character, and it was her. And there's scenes where she's playing all of them, and they're all together in the same scene. And just me watching that, I was emotionally drained. I'm like, oh my god, how can you do this? So for her to do that, I'm like, you know what? I've seen her done it before. I'm excited. She's a great actress. So I just wonder how they're going, if she's going to be Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk, or are they going to CGI the She-Hulk, or are they going to go the classic Lou Ferrigno way and paint someone green and get a muscle chick?
So in your opinion, seen Orphan Black, in your opinion, you think she's got the chops then?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You think she can bring, well, I guess you don't know that much about Jennifer Walters, but do you think she can bring some good Jennifer Walters
What I do know about Jennifer Walters is that she's smart. She is, because she's a lawyer, and I'm a Daredevil fan, and every now and then they would interact. So she would be cool. I think she can do it. I think she can play Jennifer Walters well. What?
In my opinion, to the latter thing that you had to say about you don't know if they're going to do CG or Lou Ferrigno, I feel like we're in a world where it's like CG or nothing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like studios might laugh at like the idea of doing, even though I really do feel like She-Hulk could work that way. I
have some names that I'm like, okay. There's one bodybuilder that CJ knows that I follow a lot. I think Cindy Landau should play She-Hulk. I think she would do great. She's built. Go ahead.
Well, I personally think that this exists in the MCU. I think they're going to take cues from the MCU in the fact that the Hulk in the MCU is a CG construction. And so I feel like they'll want this to kind of feel like that Hulk. In that instance, you know what I mean? Maybe not like, obviously she's not going to be some huge She-Hulk, huge as Hulk, you know what I mean? But, I do feel like they're going to try to take cues to make her feel a little bit like him, because she's a character, she's a Hulk family character.
Right.
So I do feel like they want to kind of like have some sort of a brand recognition, I guess, franchise recognition, I guess, with that. So I do feel like it will be her in CGI, just like the Hulk was kind of Mark Ruffalo in CGI. I feel like this will be her in CGI.
I think so too. And now that I think about it more, because Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk is more Jennifer Walters than She-Hulk. We've rarely seen Hulk out. Like it's been. I don't think we've ever seen her fully. There are a few instances where we've seen her like Hulk out in comic book works, like Age of Ultron or.
Well, I believe a more recent incarnation of the Hulk. I was reading. I haven't read this run. I do believe there was a more recent incarnation. I don't think it's current anymore, but a more recent incarnation in the past few years of She-Hulk, where she was more. I think they called her Savage She-Hulk or whatever. She was more,
I remember that.
She was more jacked even too. She looked bigger too. So she was more like how Bruce Banner was of the Hulk.
I did, yeah. I do remember seeing that again. I haven't read it too again because I'm a Hulk fan, but I do want to see this character for I'm excited for some reason. I don't know why I'm excited to see this character as much as I am. Any final subject? Any other thoughts before we move on to what the next one is?
Just echoing your sentiment. I feel the same way. I feel that way because I'm not well versed in She-Hulk lore or the comics either. You know what I mean? I feel like here's something I can get into. Like it's a Hulk character. There's bound to be some ass kicking going on. So here's something I can get into. I don't know much about it. Like wow me, show me something cool at Marvel.
I mean, the only thing about She-Hulk is that she got her powers from a blood transfusion with Bruce Banner. Are we going to see Bruce Banner? Are we going to get that origin? Because Marvel is known to either stick to the story, to the origin story, or deviate from it every now and then. So I don't know. But other than that, though, yeah, that's my final thoughts on that. Okay, so the one thing you want to talk about, WandaVision.
Heavenly shades of night are falling. It's twilight time.
Wanda and Vision, aren't we a five-pair?
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
Take it, good sir.
All right, so yeah, I thought that it was exciting news, especially with everything going on and all the delays that we're hearing about. Like, I thought it was great news for something that was actually announced. I thought it was great news for something that was actually announced for 2021 is actually being brought up to 2020. I'm like, oh, well, awesome. And it's a Marvel property. Make my Marvel all day. Even
Every
though I'm
day.
wearing a DC shirt. But my Spider-Man one wasn't clean. So I wore it. But anyways, freaking no, but seriously, no, I thought it was great. I am very interested in WandaVision too, period. So I'm like, to hear that I can watch that a little bit sooner, even if it isn't much sooner, even just to hear that I can watch that a bit sooner is great news to me. I'm really interested in what's going on. They didn't really, I feel like, a lot of the bigger Avengers, yes, they kind of concluded their stories, but some of the smaller Avengers, they kind of left it open for obviously for their franchises to kind of breathe. And Scarlet Witch is one of those characters at the end of Endgame where it's like, okay, well, where does this leave her? You know what I mean? Like, everybody who was really kind of like a parental or older sibling figure to her in the movie franchises is gone now. If you think about it, Natasha was kind of a mentor. Cap was almost like an older brother, father figure to her. Even Tony was like a protector, sort of mentor to her, and they're all gone. You know what I mean? She really doesn't have anyone left. Vision was her.
You have the power to destroy the storm. Don't. You must do it. Oh, please. We are out of time.
I can't.
Yes, you can. You can. If he gets the storm, half the universe dies. It's not fair. It shouldn't be you, but it is. It's all right. You could never hurt me.
You know what I mean? Was her lover, like, she really doesn't have anyone left in the entire MCU, kind of, Hawkeye maybe kind of, but he's got his own family back that, you know what I mean? He's got his own path that he's got to sort of bring himself back to where he was, even. So it's like, she really has like nobody left. And I find that to be a very interesting place where they left her and where they're going to go with this. You know what I mean? What does this mean? What does this WandaVision mean? Like, what is she doing? How far off the deep end is she gone? How dark will this series even be is another thing, because it's like, I know how, with the lore of the character, I know how dark it can be and how dark it can get. So it's like, I just wonder, like, how dark are you guys going to take this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is she crazy? Is she bat-ish right now? You know what I mean? And like, does she need to be stopped, kind of a thing? You know what I mean? Like, does she need to be stopped? Or is she like freaking just going through something a little, weird right now, kind of a thing? I'm very interested in WandaVision.
Because it is a period piece, right? Or no, because
we don't know.
We don't know anything.
We don't know. We know that there's several different reality type happening. You know what I mean? Like, and we don't really know what that means exactly.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say, like, it seems like it's her coping. It's kind of her leading to No More Mutants. The what's that? What was that? House of M. House of M. Yeah. Which is a great run. Everyone should read House of M. I lost mine. I think I let it borrow. Carly borrow it, and then just I lost them.
But wasn't she even partially responsible for Disassembled?
Yeah, because she went crazy. She went crazy because she lost her twins, and that's when she brought back Jack of Hearts. That's why she made She-Hulk go super crazy. She brought back Scott Lang as Antman, and that's what started the whole Disassembled thing, which led to House of M. That's my comic credit, guys and gals. Drop my comic.
It's that sort of puts that idea in my head. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of puts that idea, like, okay, like, is this, like, they're kind of toting this as like sort of this madcap kind of a thing, kind of funny, whatever. But like, my thoughts are like, you don't fool me. You know what I mean? Like, this seems like it's going to start off kind and be a little bit goofy, but I really feel like they're just waiting to stick the knife in with this one. Like, I feel like I'm gonna come away with this one like, holy crap, like, kind of a thing. Like,
yeah, this character does not have a happy life. She's the daughter of Magneto. She's a mutant. She lost her husband. She lost her kids. Scarlet Witch is not a happy-go-lucky kind of character at all. We even saw that in X-Men Evolution. Like she was very gothic, very dark. I'm like, that's kind of a little bit on the nose. But yes, but she's a teenager, so but that's what she is. So it's her definitely coping with reality. So and it's always been that her dealing with her issues through that way. So maybe another way we'll see the mutants come into Marvel universe.
Think about that. Like a reverse no more mutants almost.
Yeah, dude. Ooh. More mutants, please.
Her.
We can legally use this name now.
More mutants, please.
We legally can use this name now, this word now.
This is our word now.
What you call me? That's our word.
Awesome, though.
I think it's the name of the episode. More mutants, please.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, everybody's asking for it anyway.
You know? All right. Go ahead.
Nothing. I mean, I guess just concluding thoughts on this is just, you know, I'm happy to hear that this is coming sooner. And I'm very interested in seeing what's going on with it. And on the same kind of coin, we didn't really go into this, but it was supposed to come out this year anyway, and it still is. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That's right.
I'm very excited, and I'm glad to hear. Well, I mean, I think it's tentatively like December right now.
Is it?
I think so. Still,
I'm so behind my
They're
Marvel.
finishing it right now, I believe.
I did not know. Where are they filming? Because we can't film in the States. Are they filming in Europe?
I forgot where it's. I forget. But there have been recent articles and like, you know, what do you call it? Set photos and stuff.
Okay.
Of them talking about how they came back recently and blah blah blah. So they're finishing it right now. I think it has it's still slated late this year. We'll just have to know. We'll have to hear. Stay informed on the subject. You know what I mean? I mean, that always might change, but they did say WandaVision is coming out this year, and that one was slated later. So hopefully that's a good sign for Falcon and Winter Soldier as well.
All right, that's true. Hopefully we'll get fingers crossed.
We got a director for the Miss Marvel series. That's coming to Disney Plus. Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. For the director of the movie Bad Boys for Life, is a couple of brothers. They are Pakistani in what's that origin? Birth. It was Bilal Fallah and Adil Arbi.
If we're mispronouncing it, we're sorry.
Yeah, I am so sorry because I'm sure I am mispronouncing it. And then Sharmeen Obad Shinoy and Mira Manan, they're all bringing Miss Marvel to the screen. I don't know. I'm sort of like passively a fan of Miss Marvel. I've gotten more and more exposure to her over the past few years. At first she was just something I just was hearing about, and then now she's been in video games that I've been playing, and you know I find her to be a cool character. Certainly not an offensive character. One of the things at least when they portray her in the things that I've seen her in, one of the things I like about her is how much of a fangirl she is. She ends up kind of being the voice of the reader a lot of times, or the player of the game, because of how much of a fangirl she is, and it's kind of like refreshing and cool to like see it. It's like that classic the classic Robin formula. You know what I mean? Like here's you can't be Batman, but you might be able to be Robin. You know what I mean? Like here's Robin. He's more like you. You know, Batman is like unattainable, but Robin's kind of more like how you were. That's kind of like the vibe I get from Miss Marvel. She's kind of like the every girl character, the fan girl, you know, and it's endearing a lot too. So I'm interested.
Okay, I heard about it recently too. I didn't know the Bad Boys for Life director. I have been out of the entertainment news because I'm just the world. It's 2020. Let's leave it at that. 2020. I'm trying to avoid everything. I'm watching Frasier over and over again. I'm watching Netflix over and over again. But I should probably keep going back to real world. The real world that is make believe entertainment news. I've yet to see Bad Boys for Life, but I heard it was amazing. I've heard it was better than the first two movies.
Interesting.
But I'm
to see it too.
But it doesn't surprise me because Michael Bay's not involved. So
He gets a bad rap. I am not a Michael Bay hater.
You know what? I like Michael Bay's movies. I like The Rock. I like Transformers. You like Armageddon? I like Armageddon.
Like it's like I don't go into a Michael Bay movie expecting freaking Citizen Kane. You know what I mean? Like
I don't
I'm
either.
not. You know, like I don't know. I think he gets a bad rap because he makes movies for money, which he does. Like you know what I mean? But like I don't know. I think there's room in the movie ecosystem for what Michael Bay does, obviously, because they make a lot of money.
That's true. All righty. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you same fracking time, same fracking channel. Frack off.